I want you to do is be my love. My love. My love.
Hey guys, welcome to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Xavian, and today I am going to just talk about a little bit about my experience at college as a Clemson Life student. If you guys do not know, I went to the Clemson University and I was part of the Clemson Life program. It's basically like pretty much like it's for kids with learning disabilities like autism, ADHD, Down syndrome, all that stuff. So yeah, and also I did want to show you I finally got the iPad that I wanted as my graduation gift, the one I was wanting, the new iPad Pro M4, and yeah. So yeah, I have not opened it yet, so yeah, I'll be opening it tomorrow because I'm waiting for one last thing to come, and then I will actually open it up and set it up. So, and again, thank you, Mom and Dad, for getting me this as my college graduation gift. So, okay, I'm gonna explain real quick. So, if you guys did not watch my last video, I vlogged my college graduation party, and when I opened it, it basically had the wrong iPad in it. It was the iPad Air, the newest one. I don't know what that one's called, or yeah, I don't know what it's called. But as soon as I opened it, I was like, okay, this is the wrong one. So after we cut the video, I told my parents, I'm like, this is the wrong one. They fooled y'all. And so yeah, but we finally got it fixed up after the party. We went to Verizon to go get the right one, and it just came in today because we had to order it. So they did have that one there, but it wasn't the size or color that I wanted. So yeah, so we had to order it. So it just came in today, and I'm waiting for one last thing to come in so I can, and then I'll open it up tomorrow. So to go with it. So all right, but anyways, so I decided I would talk about my experience as a Clemson Life student. So after I graduated high school, that following fall, 2023, I went to the Clemson University. Also, the Clemson Life program only lasted 2 school years, and just to be honest, my full opinion, I was not happy about it at all, because I am a Gamecock fan. Go Cox. But I don't have to worry about it anymore because I could be a Gamecock again, finally, because I'm not there anymore. But anyway, so basically, like, I was kind of mad. I did not want to, like, I didn't want to be there at all, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to have to get over this, you know. This is where I'm going to be going to college, and after that, I can finally breathe and, you know, just be done with it. So, basically, the first week of school, it was the first week. So the first week of school, I remember we were applying for jobs and stuff in Clemson for us to work at, and I was working at the Shepherd Hotel at the time, and so basically I remember, like, I was just on my phone because, you know, we're always on our phones doing whatever while we were waiting. So I was waiting for my turn to basically be for my interview. For my interview. And my teacher said, hey, Xavier, when it's time for your interview, put your phone up. I was like, okay. And then she's like, put your phone up. I'm like, I will. She's like, put your phone up. And I'm like, I will when it's time. And she's like, your interview is now. And I'm like, clearly she did not explain that right. Because I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you know, and like, seriously? Okay, my feet are starting again. I'm going to sit like this. But I'm like, what is wrong with you? And she did not explain that clearly, and she did not even apologize either. So yeah, I will say, y'all, before I even get into the rest of this, like, these teachers, obviously, they did not care about us at all. They literally cared about themselves. And literally, when we graduated, they're like, we'll miss you. I'm like, they're not gonna miss us. They hated us. We were literally like the worst class. But anyway, yeah, basically most of these teachers, like, they just only cared about themselves and stuff and all that. But yeah, let's continue on with the story. And so basically after that interview, I was just ready to get away from her because even when my interview was over with Katrina, literally, like, she was like, bye, Xavier. Just with the way she is, it was just she was just very selfish and only cared about herself, basically. And yeah, and also some of these students were just not mature about themselves either. Like, you know, okay, so my roommates that year, they were amazing. You know, I enjoyed all 3 of my roommates, you know. We all got along pretty well. There's one issue is with that. The only thing is they would not pick their clothes up. One time they had, like, pants, underwear, all that, shirts, all on the floor. And one time it was right at my door. And I remember my parents came in one time, and my dad was getting very mad about that, because I'm like, first of all, he had the right to, because first of all, like, they need to keep their clothes to themselves, and they didn't. But finally, after a while, they picked them up. But after a while, like, they finally picked up their clothes and put them up, which that was just the annoying part, and it was disgusting. Like, I'm not even joking. And also, with this teacher, there were some times where she would just basically, like, ignore me and stuff, and I would try to ask her something, and then that's when she would get offensive and all, and just be like, she didn't care. That was basically the issue. Basically, like, she didn't care. She basically just, would just not even care to speak to us at times, because I will tell you, most of the time with these teachers, they just were in their little pissy little attitudes, and they just would not, they just seemed like they didn't want to speak to us, they didn't want to be around us or anything and all that. And yeah, but now I kind of want to get towards the students now. Now my classmates that I was with, they were a pain wreck all year, all those 2 years, like literally. So I remember one time in class, one of the students kept bringing up, they keep bringing up issues and stuff from the past. And I remember one time I said, hey, we don't need to talk about that. No one cares. And then the teacher fussed at me for it, saying that I need to apologize. And I'm like, so I had to freaking apologize to that student. And I'm like, bro, he's the one that brought it up and she didn't care. Like, clearly not. And, yeah. Y'all just bear with me. I'm not the best at explaining stories, but, I'm trying my best. But anyway, so yeah, that happened. Yeah, but anyways, so, once homecoming week came around, me and the teacher were we had a bad week with each other that week. And basically, like, I asked her something, she ignored my question, and then she's like, it's not a point right now. And I'm like, but I asked. And then she was like, if you don't stop arguing with me, we're going to have a problem. And I literally just wanted to go off at her at that point, because clearly she did not care to answer just a simple question. That's what teachers are for. They think it's all about them, but really it's not. It's about everybody, not just you. And, yeah, and she pretty much gave an attitude that whole time in class. And then I kind of gave one back at her, because I was sick and tired of her foolishness. And then she goes, we need to talk after class. And, so after that, me and her got into it really big. And then she's like, first of all, you are not going to speak to me that way. You are disrespectful. You are a disgrace. And I'm like, first of all, no, you're the disgrace, because first of all, you basically kept ignoring me, and I tried to ask you a simple question, and then you get offensive over it. Like, who does that? My high school teachers, they were amazing about answering questions, not ignoring, and, it was amazing. But these Clemson Life teachers, thinking just because we have autism and all that other disabilities, they think that they can just be mean to us and treat us the way they want. And yeah, pretty much that was like one of the biggest problems I had with them, is that, they didn't care or anything. And yeah, now this other time, this one student, she was being kind and sweet to one of the students that she was talking to. And then when I asked, I was like, oh, so this is what's going on? And she's like, yes! And I'm like, you do not have to scream at me like that. And she's like, because I don't want to talk to you. Shut the F up. And I'm like, excuse me? And then she's like, get the F away from me. Like, and so I basically told the teacher. She handled it, Really what added more to her fuel is that this one student, she kept on aggravating, talking over, and then that's what made her even more mad, I guess. And pretty much, like, yeah, that's pretty much what added to it. And then after that, she would take her anger out on us and on everyone else, when she should have not have did that. And yeah. So, yeah, pretty much that was the big problem here. Like, y'all, look, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not the best at explaining stories, but I'm trying to remember every single thing that I could think of so I could share it, So basically, I cannot remember. Okay, so I guess I'll forward to towards the end of my first year. So I remember at the mentor pizza party, one of the teachers had their kids playing around with them, and this one teacher was watching us. Me and Liam, we were running around, and the teacher saw us, and then we did it we did it again, and then we did it again, and then we did it again, and then that's when the teacher finally comes up and says, "You need to stop running." And I'm like, "Why are you just now saying something?" And then she flips out, and I'm like, and then I backed up. I went back at her, and I'm like, first of all, I'm like, "Why are you speaking to me that way?" And she's like, "No, you're not going to speak to me this way. I know you're not doing that." And then she touched me, and then I'm like, first of all, get your hands off of me. Do not touch me. And then she goes, "I did not touch you." And she just lied right to my face. "I felt you touch me." And then this other teacher gets involved, and I'm like, she's like, "Xavier, outside right now." And she saw the whole thing. She knows good and well that teacher started it. And of course, she basically does not care for her. She's on her side, protecting her and going off on me, saying I'm the one that started this whole thing. But we went outside, and she's like, "That was disrespectful." And I'm like, first of all, she was talking disrespectful to me. And she goes, "I don't care." So basically, I explained to her how I felt in my side of the story of how I felt. And then she goes, "I don't care how you feel. You were disrespectful, and you need to go in there and apologize right now." And she's like, you either apologize and make it right, or I'm getting the principal involved. And of course, it's like, they gotta have a principal. Like, stupid. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going in here to apologize. And I'm like, and I said to her, "Look, I'm sorry, even though I did nothing wrong." Like, and then she goes, "You were very offensive here." And then at that point, I did not want to talk to anyone, So yeah, basically, I just couldn't win, No one was ever going to hear me out with anything except for my friends back at home. That's basically what I would do. Anytime something happened, I would go in my dorm room afterwards and talk to my friends about it, and they would understand, and they were the only ones that would, listen. And that's pretty much all I had, because no one else cared to hear my side, and just, there's nothing really I can do. The teachers are always going to win and get their way. Oh, I remember this. So this was the beginning of my next school year, my last year, my senior year. And so basically, me and one of my teachers were coming back from my, we were coming back from my job interview to work at East Coast. And I like that way better than the Shepherd Hotel. And basically, we were walking back, and she said, excuse me. Wait. Okay, I'm good. Okay, anyway, we were walking back from my job interview, and then she's like, "Hey, Xavier, you got to take your class pictures today." And I was like, "Okay." And so me and her went up there, and then I went in there to the principal, and then she's like, "Sit down, Xavier." And then I did, and then she's like, "Have you been on time for everything?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then she goes, "Don't you lie to me. I know good and well you missed out on mandatory events," which these are things I did not even know about, because the other teacher said nothing to me about it. And then she's like, "Class pictures were the other day, and you missed out on them on purpose." And I'm like, I did not know anything until right now. And then she did not believe me. Me and her were arguing back and forth about it. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, y'all, but these teachers were awful, And, yeah. And so basically I had to keep on convincing her a bunch of times that, that, I didn't miss out on these on purpose, and I didn't know about them till today. And they still thought that I was lying, and they called me a liar and all that. And so then finally I had to get my mom and Savannah involved, which is one of the teachers. But anyway, and so I had to tell her, what was going on. And then finally she went and explained her story. And then the following day I talked with the principal again. And then we talked it out, but she did not apologize. She just didn't seem like she really cared, to say that she was wrong, because clearly how she was acting, you know, she still kind of wanted to think that she was in the right and stuff with everything, and clearly, you know, that I was still in the wrong. And I'm like, you know what, just screw this, just whatever, you know. I'm sick and tired of fighting with them about this, and so, yeah. And yeah, so basically, it was just awful, like, you know, it was the worst. And then everything was kind of clear and stuff back, with all this school year. Pretty much nothing happened until November. And so basically just that morning I woke up in my dorm. I was not feeling good, like, at all. Like, I mean, I wasn't sick or anything, I just felt dizzy. So I went in the elevator room, and I went and laid down in there, and then my teacher texted me. I was like, oh, you're late. And so I went in there, and then she's like, Zaven, why are you late? And then I said, sorry, I'm just feeling very, very dizzy right now, and I wasn't keeping track of time. And she's like, that's not an excuse. And then we went in the classroom, and I forgot something, and so I had to go back and get that. And then I texted her and say, why do you think everything I say is an excuse? You are so mean and rude and disrespectful, you know, like, you always accuse me of things, and you didn't even care that I said that I was feeling dizzy. And so then she's like, Zaven, we can talk about this in person. You need to come back now. And so I did. And after class, we talked about it. Then I went in the office with her. And then we just started talking straight away. And then she goes to say her side, and then I go to say my side. And then she's like, Zaven, things are not going to... You think everything's going to be perfect for you because you're autistic. And I'm like, that is not what I'm saying at all. Like, literally, you did not care at all. And because... She literally said to me, that's not an excuse that you're saying that you feel dizzy. I literally was telling her how I felt, and she did not care. And I said to her, bro, why on earth would you say that was not an excuse when I'm just telling you that I was not feeling the best, that I was dizzy? And she goes, Zaven, I did not say that. And I'm like, yes, you did. You said it right in front of me. Like, these women, like, they're brutal liars. Like, that's what they are. And then me and her started going off at each other for real after that. Like, after I said to her, no, that is not what I mean. I'm not saying that. Oh, you're just putting words in my mouth. And then you're like, no. She's like, no, Zaven, you are saying that. And I'm like, no, I am not. And then this other teacher that was in there, she's like, hey, you better be quiet. You better shut your mouth right now. You are good and lucky that I am not your teacher. And then I forgot what she said about that, the rest. But I forgot everything else that she said. But that was basically a threat there. And then she's like, you made a mistake, own up to it. I'm like, you own up to y'all's mistakes because you don't own up to anything. They claim that they do, which they don't. They're liars. Like, that's what they are, you know, clearly. You know, they clearly basically do petty things like that, don't own up to their mistakes, and nothing. That just makes me so mad and pisses me off. That is, like, the issue, you know, like, clearly. And, yeah, so basically I had to sit there and be quiet. I basically could not defend myself there, y'all. So, y'all, I don't miss college at all. I don't. I'm glad to be back home. Looking forward to my new job soon and everything else. Like, you know, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. But back up to last school year, my first year. So we were at this mandatory event, and basically like pretty much like we were looking at these plants and stuff in this greenhouse, and this guy was giving us instructions, and I was just stretching and all that. And obviously, you know, sometimes when you stand up, you know, you have to stretch. And that's what I was doing. And then this one teacher was like, stop stretching, pay attention. And I'm like, I'm just stretching. And then she's like, pay attention. And then I walked away from her. And then she was about to say something again. And I'm like, get away from me. And then she's like, excuse me? And then she told the teacher on me like a little snitch. Like, you know, these teachers are basically babies. They can't handle nothing. And yeah, oh yeah, kind of back forward to that other situation. She's like, and the one that I texted saying, why did you say that and all that? And then she's like, I am not going to allow you to send a nasty text message. And I'm like, first of all, that was not a nasty text message. Y'all know what a nasty text message is. A nasty text message is when you're cussing at somebody in it. And I did not do that. So that was not a nasty text message. That was just a regular message saying how I feel. And they just can't handle it. But anyway, so back to this situation. The teacher told my teacher about it, and they're babies. But anyway, and so my teacher texted when I was in my dorm saying, can you come to my office real quick? And because I knew what it was about, and I did not go because I did not want to see her. And then basically when we were getting ready to go to this rowing clinic thing, she was there, and she's like, Zaven, get over here. And she's like, what happened with that teacher? And then I explained to her my story, and she's like, first of all, you were not going to speak to her that way. She was telling you to pay attention. You need to pay attention, which first of all, I was. And so and then the teacher was like, you need to apologize to her, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And so I had to freaking apologize to her. And she's like, thank you for apologizing. They literally just pissed me off. Like, I literally just wanted to rage and go off at them. Like, I just could not handle it no more. Like, I couldn't, And I remember the last day of school on this field trip, and I remember everybody was kind of just screaming and yelling about random stuff, and then the teachers got involved, and it had nothing to do with them. They were like, stop all this yelling. And then she's like, all of you need to stop. And I'm like, then I would go, all this screaming and yelling is not appropriate. And she's like, you're the one that talks, Xavier. And then me and her kind of got at it and each other, and she's like, we need to talk. And I'm like, there's nothing I can say to you. And so pretty much basically and I tried to run off because I did not want to speak to them, and then they all started shouting my name, and the only I was gonna keep going, and so just to avoid them, and literally it was just too much, and then the students were like, Xavier, stop, they need you. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just get this over with. I only stopped because the students said something, otherwise I would have kept going. But anyway, so yeah. And you're like, Xavier, you made this whole thing escalate. And really, it was her. She made it escalate. And then she's like, I don't need an apology. You need to apologize to me now. So I had to apologize to her and all that. And so, yeah. But anyways, this other situation, what was it? Oh, what was it? Oh yeah, this other situation occurred one time when I was in class, and basically I don't remember. Hold on, I'll be back. I need to remember. All right, I remember now. So basically, I was in class, and pretty much I was pretty much just chilling in class, and then we just stopped doing what we were doing. Then I pulled my phone out, and then the teacher banged on the window, and I looked, and she's like, get off Snapchat and do what you're supposed to be doing. And we were literally doing nothing. And so basically the teacher's like, we need to talk with your teacher about this, because we actually had a substitute teacher, because the other teacher that I had was pregnant. And basically she's like, we need to talk about this, because they put our phones on screen time thing, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna have these people have control over my phone, because it's my phone, my privacy, I don't need you getting control over it. They actually did it one time before, but I figured out how to take it off, because it is my property, my phone, and I can do whatever I want on it. And so yeah, and then in one class in it, they actually went to speak to another student first, then they were going to speak to me, and then I just packed my things and left, because I'm not dealing with this. It's my phone, and I don't care what y'all think is best for me. It's my phone, I don't need y'all's help. But anyway, then they started calling saying, Xavier, we asked you to stay after class, come back, and I ignored their calls. And yeah. And then the following day, they're like, you were going to see me under class. And I did not go see her because, I didn't go see her. And yeah, these teachers are just mean and don't care about us at all. They only care about themselves. Like, literally. And so, and this one of my teachers there, she has 2 young boys that I'm really close with. They love me to death. I met them at the talent show last year during my first year, and we were all playing and hanging out and doing whatever. And then the following year, I asked them, like, hey, would you maybe want to do something, like me, you, and the boys, we could, like, hang out or something? She's like, sure. But the thing was, like, her and their dad were divorced, so it was kind of hard. One week she had them, and then the other week their dad had them. So it was hard. And so basically, like, we said that we would do it, but it ended up not happening. So I don't know what happened, but, sometimes things don't go the way we want them to. So, yeah, so basically, like, after we talked about it a lot, because I kept asking her, hey, is everything all right? Or are we able to do it? Because I totally understand if not. She's like, we'll see, Xavier. And then the other week, a few weeks ago, my teacher pulled me in and she's like, oh, wait, before this, I also asked one of the teachers, hey, do you plan to have kids someday? And she's like, yep, absolutely. And then my teacher pulled me in that same day because we were taking graduation pictures that day. Then she pulled me in after we were finished. She's like, Xavier, what is this I hear about you're asking teachers, do they plan to have kids someday, and that you're trying to hang out with their younger kids? That is not appropriate. You do not need to be asking them that. And I'm like, first of all, what is wrong with that? Like, clearly, if they didn't like I cannot talk. If they didn't like that, I was asking those questions, they should have came to me and told me, not anyone else. Like, and I'm like, first of all, this has nothing to do with you. And I'm like, yes, it does, because they have to tell me. They don't need to say it to you. And I'm like, yes, they do need to say it to me. It is about them, not you. And I'm like, and she's like, yes, it is, Avon. It is about me because I'm your teacher. I have to tell you what they say. And I'm like, no, they don't. No, you don't. They have to tell me. I'm like, these teachers are so freaking stupid. Like, literally. They can't just own up and come and tell me how they feel about this. I cannot talk. How they feel about the situation. Like, they have to chicken out and tell someone else to tell me how they feel. That's petty and stupid. Like, clearly. And, yeah, I think there's one more situation, but I don't know if I can remember it or not. Yeah, I think that's everything now. But anyways, so, yeah, that's it. That was basically my experience with college, y'all, being a Clemson Life student. So, yeah, it was not great. But anyways, if you enjoyed the story, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to support me, hit the subscribe button. And if you do hit the subscribe button, don't forget to click the notification bell to get notified every time I upload. And I do have some fun trips coming up this summer that I will be vlogging. And I'm super excited to do them for you guys. Bye!